People who do not create content routinely have literally no idea what content creation actually entails. When you look at someone who says that they play video games for a living, you are going to have preconceived notions of what that means. Does it mean they play games for 16 hours a day, both on and off stream? Does it mean that they hit go live and money just falls into their lap? Does it make them an e-beggar? There is a very nuanced answer to all of this, and it is going to depend on a lot of factors that the audience may not be privy to, and also that people who aren't in the culture simply could not begin to fathom. But I've been doing this for 2.5 years now, so I want to talk about it. Especially when, after 2.5 years, I have earned maybe $100 from it at most. Here we go. I've done this before, but I'm gonna do it again. I want to guide you through the process of how I make my YouTube videos. My own process is pretty streamlined now. Storyboard, film, cut, script, dub, finalize, render. 7 steps, but it can take anywhere from 10 to 30 hours to do each project. Every project begins with a spreadsheet determining the number of weeks or months that a series will air, the main topic points or in-game events for each week, and or the topics that I would like to cover in, say, my road trip talks or off-script videos. I do this on a quarterly basis to make sure I am never out of ideas. From there, it is filming time. Some projects are easy to film. Basically, start a new game and keep playing until you get to the roll credits. Other games are far more nuanced. Balatro requires prepping each custom seed with a spreadsheet before filming can commence, while Motorfest requires the prepping of car builds, which can require farming for parts and affixes. The most intensive project I have done is Dangerous Hunts, because just to get the gear that I needed for that series required having a save file I had devoted over 280 hours to by that point. And City Skylines is up there too, because a city might take 100 hours to build before I can even begin to film it. One way that a lot of creators can recoup their time is by live streaming the asset production process. For example, someone like Maxor will play Elden Ring on their stream with friends, record it in OBS, and then spend 9 months cutting that footage. That is a smart way of double dipping, the only downside being that a lot more stuff will just end up on the cutting room floor, which is part of why I personally do not stream. If I have a targeted list of scenes that I have to film, then I save a lot more time and have a lot less wasted footage. But once you have your footage, get ready to turn off your console and not touch it for a week, because that is when the hard part begins. Throwing that footage into the editor, cutting, scripting, and dubbing is all done at a rather consistent rate of 1 to 2 hours of editing per 1 minute of finished footage. So a 20-minute project like Machine and Madeline, that is 20 to 40 hours in Premiere. That is time spent not gaming. And it is actual work because you are going over everything with a fine-toothed comb. You are setting keyframes. You are staging background audio. And then you finally get to a point where it is time to add your voice narration, and you have to sync every bit of dialogue to timestamps. Let me put some of my scripts on screen for y'all. Yeah, it is intensive. And again, the audience does not see this. They only see the finished product. Not to mention that outside of making videos, there are other things I have to do. I make weekly schedules telling y'all what the core videos will be that week. Every single schedule has a photograph that I took myself in one of the games that I play, usually the Crew 2 or Motorfest. So time is spent both taking those pictures and working with them in Photoshop. I also do my own thumbnails, though that tends to be just a screen cap from the video file, so I am a bit lazy there. If you are a one-person outfit, the editing time will often be more than 5-fold the filming time. DVL was approximately 2 hours of raw, and maybe an hour or two of prep beforehand. Editing took 2 weeks, I would say approximately 30 hours. That is a 15-fold ratio of editing versus gaming. Am I salty that it only got 20 views? Maybe a little. Hell, even road trip talks are 30 minutes of filming versus 4 or 5 hours of editing. This is a ratio that I have come to accept, though it is nonetheless a ratio that most non-creators have no idea about. And yet, this problem is really only a problem for people who are a one-person outfit. One of my biggest points of disdain in the creator space, personally, is paid editors and agencies. If you have a team behind you, everything gets significantly easier. You, as the host of your channel, have more freedom to focus on the gaming, hosting more streams and events, while someone else is in charge of that 40-hour-a-week editing time in Premiere or some other video program. But the more things you offload to your team, the less relevant your role becomes from a creator standpoint. I haven't bitched about VTubing in a while, so I might as well. I still watch some professional VTubers, but it is something which has fallen out of favor with me, even as I have embraced PNG tuber life. Agency VTubers, and even the more successful indies, are more likely to keep their audience enthralled by constantly changing things up. New models, new assets, promotional videos, stuff requiring time not just in Premiere, but now throwing in things like Photoshop, Illustrator, Blender 3D, the works. When you can just put someone on payroll to do that for you, you never have to cultivate those skills yourself. Your skill set boils down to one thing: play the video games. If at any time you lose those resources, your channel is over. And really, if those resource providers decide that they want to be in the spotlight themselves, you are essentially made redundant or even irrelevant. So why do I care about this? For one reason, and one reason only: AI. As someone who dabbles in both the arts and AI, I see things from both sides of the coin. There are things AI can do that make certain tasks redundant, but AI cannot make my creative process redundant because it is something I take full ownership of. Does Gemini help me storyboard projects? Yes, because I can give it the outline and have it check for consistency, determine vehicle loadouts for me, decide on thematic elements, and help brainstorm how the finished project ought to look like. Plus, if I need to learn a new skill in Premiere or Audacity, it can give me a tutorial. But if Gemini comes up with a story thread that I do not like, I have the power to veto that idea. There are a ton of ideas that Gemini pushes where I'm like, no, we are not going to do that. It is tacky or way too convoluted, and it doesn't vibe with how I do things. And regarding asset production, I still do nearly all of that myself to this day. The schedule templates, the thumbnail templates, those are mine. I made them. Again, avatars were AI drafts, and I take full accountability for that, but those drafts I then modified for my own purposes. I made them distinct to me, so they are still mine. The people most afraid of that AI redundancy are the people who simply do not have that level of accountability. It is people who rely on other humans for their creative process. And if AI replaces those people, then AI controls their creative process altogether. What they fear most is losing their power to veto, because they would not know how to do it on their own if they were suddenly forced to. Every other artist who has attempted to call me out on this asks the same bullshit question. But what would happen when AI makes you redundant? All but ignoring the fact I have a literal AI voice clone on my channel, and I am still here. According to 11 Labs, my V2 has been used by people other than me to generate about 4.1 million characters, which is about 69 hours of audio. 1, nice, and 2, that is really the equivalent of 3 or 4 people using V2 about as much as I do. Because I use approximately 1 hour per month, it's been 2 years, that is 24 hours of generated audio, which is still maybe half the amount of wordage that I record of myself for all the other projects I do. And for that matter, V2's quality is still somewhat inferior to my own voice, just because of the limitations of the microphone that I had used. It can fool some people, but I can still tell the difference between myself and myself. At some point, I might even just redo the model altogether, but that would be a considerable endeavor for me. The bottom line is, I put my heart and soul into every project I make, regardless of the compensation or lack thereof. And most people will never understand that. They will never understand that it is not nearly as glamorous as they think it is. I don't play video games 16 hours a day. There are entire days where my Xbox just sits there because I am too exhausted from editing and don't have the energy to go play a game. And most of all, I will do this even if I end up bankrupt until my dying breath, if I have to, because I want this to be the proof I was ever alive to begin with. Anyway, that's it for today's little soapbox. I'm actually doing a lot more free expression stuff lately because I'm actually liking the new microphone a lot more. But yeah, feel free to leave your comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next videos.